ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. ओम ओम नारायण 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 नारायण. Now in the 25th shloka, तत्र अधुना सम्यक् दर्शनस्य यज्ञत्वं सम्पाद्य. Just a little introduction to the 25th shloka. Bhashyakara Shankaracharya has given. We just read out and then proceed with the 25th shloka. Adhuna samyak darshanasya yajnatvam sampadya. Tatstutyartam anyepi yajnaha upakshipyante. In the previous shloka, Jnani means an enlightened person. An enlightened person's the very existence, very living, his state, the enlightened person's state is described as yajna. Described as a yajna. So we have many yajnas. Yajna means worship. Simply it means yajna means a worship. Okay. Yajna is a particular form of worship. So this Jnani's enlightenment is described as the perfect yajna, the highest yajna. Okay. Jnani's enlightenment is not against yajna. Okay. Because here Vedas talk about yajna as the main thing. Okay. In fact, yajnartam Veda. Our people say the whole Veda is meant for yajna. Okay. Yajna means worship. The purpose of the entire Veda is to teach yajna. Okay. And when Veda is the highest knowledge, highest body of knowledge, when such a highest body of knowledge is teaching yajna, so people come with such a background, Vedic background, come to Vedanta, and Vedanta teaches enlightenment. So people think, then what is enlightenment? We have heard all these days that yajna is the highest sadhana in life, the highest, the greatest thing that we do. Then what is enlightenment? What is knowledge? Is knowledge not yajna? Or is it less than yajna? Or is it different from yajna? Okay. So to cover that sentiment of the feelings, sentiment of the sadhakas, normal people who come with the background of Veda, it says enlightenment is not against Veda, is not outside Veda. Okay. It is not outside yajna, it is not against yajna. In fact, enlightenment itself is another form of yajna. Oh, another form of yajna. What kind of yajna it is? It is the highest yajna. So all yajnas culminate into the enlightenment. Enlightenment is the greatest yajna. Okay. This is how we describe it, so that, and it is not simply describing alone, just what you say, it is not simply a way of describing, it is a fact also, because it is the highest form of yajna. Because in yajna, what is there? A simple devotion, a respect, humility, okay, a good heart, with a loving heart, with a respectable, with a reverential heart, you do it. With your body is involved, your material. In yajna, what do? Your material is involved. You spend your money for the good purpose, for the worship, and also for charity. And your body, mind, and sense organs are dedicated out of love, wholeheartedly, with reverentially, you worship God. So that that reverence, that love and reverence reaches the culmination in enlightenment. Enlightenment is not against any rituals, taught by religious part of Veda. Religious means that ritual part. Okay. So what Vedanta teaches is not against religion. It in fact shows the culmination of religion. The culmination of religion. See, this is how it is not only the way of attractive way of telling, it is really the fact. See how Bhagavad Gita says, Upanishads say, Upanishads also talk of them, Sayukta Krishna Karma Krit, here Bhagavad Gita says. Upanishads also talk about it that way, that Upanishadic knowledge is a culmination of all rituals. Okay. We have many religious activities of service, charity. Charity means giving money, dhanam we call it, tapas, self-control, prayers, all kinds of rituals, worships, all these things. If you have intensify them, enhance them, these ritualistic worship and devotion and etc., further you enhance, it goes enhance and ultimately reaches its climax in the enlightenment. Therefore, the enlightenment is taught as the culmination, the fruit of all religion, all best things in life. All best things in life culminate in enlightenment. So one little comment I make here about our Hindu society, how these Westerners have done. So like Ramana Maharshi, some people, particularly Westerners, come and try to interpret Ramana Maharshi is outside Hinduism. Any enlightened person in India, they come here not to learn. Of course, some of them learn, very few people come sincerely for learning. But most of these people, Indologists, missionaries, and Indology means Western Indologists, their purpose is different. Their academic purpose. So such people, those who are sincerely seeking the truth, wherever they are, they learn same thing. They learn right way. But so they come here not to learn from Ramana Maharshi, they come here to interpret. See, learning is not easy. It takes years of study and inward understanding, inward journey, lot of tapas, lot of spirituality, and then take help of the Guru. There are some people, some Westerners have done an excellent job. They have written. But some people, most of the people I see, even now people come to Ramanashram. Ramana Maharshi, I am giving a just example. Not only Ramana Maharshi, regarding many other enlightened people, saints of India, they did like that. They come here to interpret him. They interpret him, their first interpretation starts with, he is not a Hindu, he is outside Hindu. Hindus are falsely trying to appropriate him. See how they talk. So this is how they do. So when Westerners did it, some of our Indians also started it. Some of the gurus also started talking that way. And now the common man also, modern educated, English educated people, most of them are started talking like that. It has become so common now. Every enlightened man is outside Hinduism. Now say the rituals and Veda, everything is not part of this thing, our spirituality. So Vedanta is outside Hinduism. There is one person who attends our Bengaluru Karyalaya. He vehemently talks. I replied to him, point by point I refuted, elaborately discussed in 2, 3, many classes. He still stubbornly insists, he doesn't listen to me single argument. Again he repeats it. He started writing articles in our magazine, our monthly magazine, Kannada magazine, And our editors, I have warned my editors, this fellow is talking nonsense, is against our tradition, against our Shastra. And our editor, the working editor, defended it. What is wrong? Let him write. So, Hindus have got a peculiar nature of suicidal nature. Our scholars, Vedic scholars, editors of magazines, most of them are suicidal people. They love to destroy Hinduism. Of course, missionaries do the same thing, destroying every other thing. But Hindus are no less. Hindus also have got a very great contribution in destroying themselves. Veda Panditas alone. And this our editor is a Veda Pandita. And I told him, what is this? That person, we know how he argues it. And why are you publishing his essays? Continuously publishes. And he says, let him publish, let him write. First thing is, he doesn't look at the content. We will publish it. So, you are misleading your own followers, our followers of Swamiji, by publishing contents like this. So, here you see, Shankaracharya says, Jnanam, the enlightenment, is not against yajna, is not against dana, is not against tapas. The religious aspect of religion, any religion, Hinduism or generally Hinduism, since we talk Hinduism because it includes all aspects of religion, therefore we talk of Hinduism alone. So wherever that aspect is there in other religions, automatically get explained. So yajna dana tapaha. Yajna is worship, dana is a charity giving alms, tapas is self-control. Okay, yajna dana tapaha, these are the three. Within yajnas, within worships, there are variety of worshipping, okay, variety of charities, different degrees, different qualitative of charities. Then tapas also, the self-control is of various types, of various levels, body control, control of sense organs, control of mind, control of many things, sacrifices, controls, okay, they are of many things. So all these things, yajna dana tapaha, they all culminate in enlightenment, because enlightenment, an enlightened man's life is understanding, includes all these qualities. It includes worship, it includes charity. Therefore, so it doesn't mean an enlightened man does worship. Worship as a ritual. It doesn't mean enlightened man does a worship. So all the worships culminate in his very state of enlightenment. They are included in it. Therefore, our enlightened people don't oppose any rituals, any prayers, any actions. They never oppose. They see them as the partial manifestations of enlightenment. Because whatever you find in the enlightenment of truth, enlightenment, or a jnani's anubhava, the same thing you find in a partially, in a limited sense in all our other activities. In fact, rituals, pujas, charity, etc., they exhibit, they manifest a small part of your spiritual understanding of the truth. Because in that total egolessness, identifying yourself one with Paramatma, dissolving your individual ego and your ajnanam, and merging one with Brahman is the enlightenment. So here in our other rituals and religious life also should reflect a partial enlightenment, a small degree. Partial means a small degree of enlightenment. It must reflect it. Then only it is religion. Otherwise, how it is? Otherwise, how can you call it religion? So in India or in Hinduism, the other forms of ritual forms of religion is only a step, a smaller step, a limited manifestation, a smaller step for highest, different degrees, okay, different steps of ultimate enlightenment. Therefore, we say Brahmajnanam is a fruit of Hindu religion. Therefore, neither Brahmajnanam is opposite to our ritual aspect, our religion, nor the religion ignores the aim of enlightenment. It doesn't ignore the enlightenment as a name. It doesn't underestimate it, doesn't reject it. Okay? So all rituals life, all good qualities, all spiritual qualities, all kinds of life aims ultimately Brahmajnanam. It considers Brahmajnanam as the highest thing, is the highest culmination. Even the Brahmajnanis also talk of any life of religion or ritual or anything as a very small step, preliminary step that gradually brings you to the enlightenment. If you read Ravana Maharshi's teachings, he openly told whoever went to him with Rama Bhakti, puja, rituals, service, japa, dhyana, anything you do, he says, okay, do it. Do it, but do it in this way, and that will purify you, and that will gradually take you next step. Ultimately, it will take you to the enlightenment. He didn't reject anything. He included everything into it. And I found Ramana Maharshi, his enlightenment and his Hindu religion, he never found any contradiction in it. Now, these people, anything they say, these Western thinking, though they talk of unity and all, global, worldly, universalism, all this is nothing, nonsense. Nothing but nonsense. They are the biggest dividers in the world. They see everything as a separate, keep on dividing. Their very concept of God is division, their religion is division, everything is dividing. They divide the humanity, the racism, everything is a division only. They are born in division. Division means create antagonism, one group for the other. Their concept of nationalism is division. Everything is division. Their religion is division. Everything is dividing the people. And they say they are the only people bringing the universal thoughts, universal ideas to the globe. And if they are the people, they created lot of wars and destroyed. And even now the intellectual invasion, the media, the books, the writing is a terrible invasion of division only. The colonialism, everything. They have destroyed all the religions, pre-Christian, pagan religions all over Europe and everywhere. So in fact, earlier religions, pagan religions were so many hundreds and hundreds. They have got their own rituals, some ideas, some thoughts, some feelings, some sentiment. Some of them are little deeper, some of them are preliminary steps of simple ritual, some of them are somewhat deeper also. So all these things, they were living coexisting, they were not destroying each other. So one religion would not hate each other, one religion would not destroy each other. They were living peacefully and coexisting. Harmoniously they were living. Tolerance was natural, in fact. This intolerance started with these monotheistic religions. Okay. And they teach that, oh, tolerance and all. Nonsense, idiot, you are the one destroying everything. If you want tolerance, wipe out Islam, Christianity, world will be peaceful, I tell you. They use all noble words of peace, tolerance, unity, oh, harmony. They are the ones who destroy these very words. They are the ones, these two are the people who destroy everything on the earth. And they work exactly against what they claim, what they advocate. They work exactly against what they advocate. Okay. So, therefore, they come to, I am just warning this, not my purpose is not to waste your time. I am only warning the people, both Indians as well as outside Indians. Indians should understand, because these days we are giving too much of entry to these such people. They come to our people, every Swami, I tell you, every Matha, Pitha, Swami, they have not left out. We always welcome those who come as a Jignasus and Sadhakas. We are very happy. In fact, once a Sadhaka comes, any knowledge is for him, because it is meant for Sadhakas. After all, any Rishi loves to give knowledge to any Sadhaka wherever in the world. So, but some people come with their own agenda, and you see, they come, every Guru, every Pitha, every Swamiji they contacted. Some of the people are not aware of this motive of these Indologists and these missionaries' minds. They are not aware. So, they give away every knowledge. Whatever they ask, they tell them. They take the interview, they take all the notes and then put in the books and they misrepresent and publish the books. Now this is what they do. Now this has become a big business now. They come in large numbers. They come with only this purpose. It has become a big galaxy. It is another way of invasion. Earlier we thought that colonization ended. It is not ended, I tell you. It won't end. I tell you, the colonization, invasion, conversion, evangelism, this will not end. This will end only with humanity, I tell you. This will end only with when the humanity ends, the world ends, then alone it will end. Because they are the asuras. Asuras are essential part of the world. They will remain. They will remain in the world. Only thing is, people have to become wiser. If you learn that this colonialism is bad, now they discovered new ways of colonialism. Subtly they destroy, or psychologically they destroy. Maximum books are written by these missionaries and these Western Indologists alone. Okay. Maximum books are written. So partly they understand, partly they misinterpret, distort, because they are not basically sadhakas. They are not basically jignasus. They are invaders, they are interpreters. They want to interpret what is Hinduism, how it should be destroyed. That is their goal. Okay? They have got their own purushartha. Their purushartha is destroy anything good on the earth. That is their purushartha. Purushartha means goal of life. Okay? I am just warning, because Hindus are too foolish, foolishly innocent. Anything written by foreigner or even Indians, English medium Indians I am talking, not traditional. Even traditional people also start blindly accepting these things, and Hindus are thoroughly confused. All Hindus all over India are thoroughly confused, and among the foreigners too. Some people I find very intelligent, very good. They distinguish these Western influenced people, missionary influenced people, and real traditional people. They are able to distinguish. Oh. So I am very happy that some people, very few people are able to distinguish and go to the real truth, real traditional, the real orthodox teaching. They are able to recognize. And they bring out, and if they published very few books, they have published books, they are really good, they are excellent. They have published very nicely. But most of the books have really misrepresented. So both Europeans also should be careful in selecting the books, and also Indians should be. So here in this point, enlightenment is a fruit, like a tree. All our religions, different aspects of religion within Hinduism, it is like a big tree, a huge banyan tree, having many branches, leaves, flowers, branches. All of them culminate in the fruit. Therefore, enlightened man, he is a Avadhuta, he is a sannyasi, he is any type, whether Shuka, Jadabharata, Ramana Maharshi, or any type of person. Any type of person, Shankaracharya, sir, any type of enlightened man is a culmination, is a fruit of all the other levels of sadhanas. So all sadhanas ultimately, whether Dattatreya, we have got many kinds of traditions, but their ultimate enlightenment is one, totally melting away your individual ego. You discover you are the one with the whole Brahman. Okay? In that discovery, then all your teaching, religion, everything culminates into that. This is what Yosi Shankaracharya says in this shloka. Tatra adhuna samyak darshanasya yajnatvam sampadya. He is describing samyak darshana, enlightenment, as a yajna. What kind of yajna? Is the highest yajna, greatest yajna. So this has got one implication, just now I have told. So don't worry whatever level of sadhana you are practicing. Okay? Whatever level of sadhana, you do it wholeheartedly, sincerely. It integrates your personality, purifies you, gradually develops vairagyam in you. So all sadhanas do a partial help towards the enlightenment. So every sadhana should be understood in that way. Anything, any discipline, any self-control, any ritual, any prayer, anything. That's why Hindus don't distinguish. They say all religions are same. But they are unable to understand that some of the religions, mainly these missionary, these monotheistic religions, they teach religions and they try to confuse. In fact, they study Hinduism only to confuse Hindus. See, they study Hinduism not to learn and not to purify their narrow mind, not to remove their narrow mind, but to confuse Hindus, so that they use Hindu categories, Hindu ideas, and through the Hindu ideas push their Jesus, their Christianity, and then Allah and all that. Okay, so they use Hindu ideas and categories, and so that Hindus can be further confused. So my purpose of explaining this is, let Hindus not be confused. Let Hindus be very clear about these things. Okay, so that's why we say any ritual, okay, you believe any God. Hindus generally say like that. You believe any God, go to any church, do anything, all that is religion. Ultimately, all that will take to Brahman alone. This is the routine 20th century Vedanta. Okay, the 20th century Vedanta mix up all evangelistic Christianity. Also, they include in their religion. They don't see any distinction at all. They will say everything can be included. This has created a real problem. So, where you set aside the dogma, but take the religious spirit, the spirit of religion, simple prayer, simple love, reverence, devotion, what purifies your heart, makes your heart sattvikam. So this much we take religion means this much. Simple prayer and devotion. So that prayer, devotion is a simple religion. It can be in any form, external form of worship, can be anything. It can be anything. But the basic spirit of religion, the spirit of devotion is commonly accepted in any form of prayer, any form of ritual, any form of worship. Okay. Therefore, Hindus take that. Therefore, they say, oh, there can be many forms of worship. What doesn't matter? Anything ultimately will come to enlightenment. No, many things won't come. Because they block you, in fact. They are dead against enlightenment. They block you, they divide you, they create hatred in you in the name of God. Many things won't do. In fact, not only they teach their religion is so full of hatred, full of intolerance, their monotheistic God is full of intolerance, full of hatred. You are supposed to please him, worship him, and accept him, share his hatred and intolerance. The followers are supposed to share the hatred and intolerance of their monotheistic God. And you should not compromise this hatred and intolerance. Hatred and intolerance is essential aspect of that religion, that monotheistic God. Now, how can it lead you to enlightenment? How can it lead you to your Vedantic enlightenment? It won't. In fact, it is against Vedantic enlightenment. It blocks you. It opposes you. It doesn't allow you to come out of it, doesn't allow you to become open-minded. Okay? So not only they present means that's how there is. Their teaching is so narrow, intolerant and hateful, but they come to India and they try to present to Hinduism is also as intolerant as this religion. Because Hindus thought all religions are same. They try to present first Hinduism is also monotheistic, Hinduism is also one, Hinduism is also like that. It also has got hatred, enlightenment, everything. Now they have to, as Rajiv Malhotra says, they have to deconstruct. They take part by part separately. Now first they divide it. If there is enlightenment Vedanta, this is not religion. It is a philosophy, it is not religion. Now they try to present Hinduism is also intolerant. Ultimately it is more intolerant than their religion. Therefore Hinduism deserves and urgently needs to be destroyed. And Vedanta, it is not a religion at all. Just to throw it outside religion. So all this confusion they are pushing into Hindus, and our English medium educated Hindus in India also easily falling prey for these things. As I told you, this as an example, important example, to coming to our Karyalaya and started publishing in our own magazine. And our editors love it because they are more than fools, I tell you. They are more than fools. some of our editors. So what can we do now? I've been trying to tell them, they won't listen. So ultimately I have to give general talk to the whole Hindu society. And you tell anybody, they will continue to do the same mischief. This is the therefore it is harmful not only to us, those who are sincere seekers of truth, whether Hindus or even outside India, whether Indian Hindus or even Hindus outside India, born Europeans and others, even for them it is confusing. Luckily it is in Kannada. Suppose that magazine was published in English and that essay is published, and even Europeans would get confused in the name of Sachidanandendra Swamiji. These articles are coming up, even they would be confused. Luckily they are in Kannada, they won't read. The confusion remains with our local Indians alone. Okay. So here Shankaracharya says, Jnanam is the highest yajna, the greatest yajna, all-pervasive yajna, full-fledged yajna, perfect yajna. Now you take of all other religions, meditations, prayers, worships, etc. They are all partial yajnas. Okay? Partial yajna, limited, different degrees, gradational yajna. They are of different degrees. They partake the same ultimate truth in a partially, okay? Partially they represent the ultimate yajna. See how beautifully they combine all rituals, religion and also enlightenment, Vedanta. This is really harmony. And those who claim that all universal, they are not universal, they are divisive fellows. This is Hinduism, this is Shankaracharya's way, even Lord Bhagavan Krishna's way. This is harmonizing. We see the beauty, inner oneness of all these things. This is real harmonizing. Okay. So I elaborated because to keeping our own people in view. Here, see how Shankaracharya says, Jnanam he is considering as a yajna. And this fellow vehemently says Veda is separate, Hinduism is separate, Vedanta is outside Hinduism. He talks like that. I told Hindus are not rejecting enlightenment. Hindus are not rejecting Vedanta as outside them. Nor Vedanta says Veda, rituals, puja, karma yoga is against Vedanta. So neither Vedanta says nor religion says, then who are you to in between divide them? He says, no, this alone is right. This alone is right. He vehemently, he propagates it, publishes it, tries to speak. He tries to, whoever gives me little chance, he will go and speak. Now, aggressively he is doing propaganda against Hinduism, and he says that he is a Hindu. See, terrible fellows, these Hindus, I tell you, self-destructive fellows, suicidal fellows. Because we have learnt a lot from missionaries. We means our own Hindus, some of the Hindus love to implement all agenda of missionaries set by missionaries. All the missionaries, they lovingly implement. So missionaries don't have to do much job. Write book and keep quiet. Our Hindus will adopt it and they will implement it and fulfill the desire of Columbus. They will fulfill the desire of Columbus. We have got a Columbus Peetham in India, you know that? Columbus Peetham. All these fools are Columbus, represent Columbus Peetham and all. Columbus Peetham means anti-Hindu Peetham. Okay, so tatra adhuna samyak darshanasya yajnatvam sampadya tatstutyartam anyepi yajnaha upakshipyante. Now from the 25th shloka, see 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, up to 30. Okay, in 31st, no, 30, up to 31st, let us say, 25 to 31st. 32nd, he draws a conclusion. Now he is around 12 yajnas. 12 yajnas he is narrating, he is describing from the 25th shloka to 31. 25th to 31 means, I think, 7 shlokas. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31st to 7 shlokas. From 25th up to 31st in 7 shlokas, Bhagavan Krishna is describing 12 kind of yajnas. I tell you, in this he includes every kind of ritual, every kind of prayer, every kind of yoga, all that he includes. That means in general he covers every prayer, every ritual all over the world. Every kind of prayer, every kind of ritual, devotion, yoga, all kind of spiritual sadhanas he includes in these 12. Even if one or two are left out, you can include them. What is that? He means in general, etc., etc., he says. So he says all these yajnas have two purposes. So one is to say that all these yajnas culminate into absolute yajna, that is jnanam. Enlightenment is an absolute yajna. Second thing is, these yajnas also represent a partial enlightenment. Two ways we talk of it. Enlightenment is a culmination of all yajna, it is an absolute yajna. Or in other way, each yajna, here we describe them, each yajna is a partial, a small degree of enlightenment alone. Therefore, never reject your daily rituals, prayers, parayana, whatever you take, Diksha, Rama, Krishna, Shiva, Lalita, whatever puja, japa, you do them sincerely, wholeheartedly, lovingly, and do them. Okay? And how to do all those things in these 12 yajnas he describes, we will explain each yajna, whatever way we understand, we will explain them. So, if you are doing some sadhana, it will fall in one of these 12. Any sadhana you do it, it will be one of these 12. So, each one will explain how to do them, the basic principle in it. So, here, in this way, so each yajna is a partially preparing you for that enlightenment, or you can say a small step of enlightenment. So, two ways we talk of it. Therefore, the other rituals and enlightenment, they are in harmony. They are not opposite to each other. Therefore, don't put any enlightened man of Hinduism outside Hinduism. Outside our rituals and religion, etc. Don't put them outside. And don't put any ritual, any diksha if you have taken, any puja, any parayana. Parayana means reading out books, the holy books, and then any japa, any dhyana. If anything you are doing it, don't feel that it is opposite to Vedanta or it will take you against Vedanta. It is also a partly taking you towards Vedantic enlightenment alone. Therefore, you may be doing rituals, you have taken diksha, continue it, and you do it, you have to do it in a Vedantic way. Now, these yajnas can be done in two ways. One is a ritual way, ritualistic way, another is a Vedantic way. Okay. Two ways of doing the same yajnas. One, what is a ritualistic way, what is a religious way? Ritualistic or religious? Religious way means when you perform these various prayers and etc., or dhyana, yoga, etc., you expect some reward from God, some blessing of God. As a result of it, you will go to some world, or you will get some material benefit, some name, fame, some kind of religious merit you acquire, punyam. You acquire punyam, so that you will get a better birth, better janma in the next life. In the next janma, you will have a good social condition, economic condition, good body, healthy body, strong body, good brain, good scholarship. Either you may get a good janma in the next life as a result of your punya, or you will have a good loka, swarga, and other lokas. Okay. That means you acquire a punyam, a religious merit. So these rituals or religious actions can be done in a religious way, or it can be done in a Vedantic way. So Vedantic is also religion, but it is a higher religion, let us say. A much deeper, much spiritual religion. It is a ritualistic religion and a spiritual religion. Therefore, same karmas, same duties can be done two ways. One is a ritualistic way, another is a Vedantic way. Okay? So, what kind of karmas when we say? So, various karmas. So, the first one, let me talk directly about these things alone. Daivameva pare yajnam yogina paryupasate. 25th shloka I am reading. Brahmagna pare yajnam yagne naivo pajuhvati. 12 kind of yajnas he discusses. First yajna is discussed in the first line of 25th shloka. First line, that is Daivameva pare yajnam yogina paryupasate. Daivam eva yajnam. Daivam yajnam, apare, some people follow Daivameva yajnam. Daivam yajnam, a divine yajnam, holy yajnam. They worship God in that yajna. Here I read out one commentary. Deva eva ijjante anena agnishtomadina asau daivo yajnaha. So here you worship gods, whichever god, Rama, Krishna, Shiva, Lalita, Devi, whomever you take. Okay. This is called Daiva Yajna. Who do it? Yoginaha. Yoginah paryupasate. The shloka first line says, who are the yoginaha? Karma yoginaha. Okay. So here, now first I have to tell you Deva. Deva worship, and who worships? Three things. In these things, three. In this yajna, God is an English word I am using, so we have to say Bhagavan in our Hindu way. So Bhagavan and the yajna, that is worship, and who is worshipping. Three things we have to discuss, we have to understand. One is Bhagavan, you are worshipping. Another is worship, the very nature of worship. Third is who is worshipping. He is a karma yogi. Here he is talking of yogi, so karma yogi. So 3 points I have to explain. Now first let us see, to worship God or Bhagavan. Who is Bhagavan? It is the same absolute truth which is Satchidanandam Brahma, the pure existing consciousness and happiness. That self-existing Paramatma himself is seen through various conditions, in various situations. So for example, I tell you, to understand the Hindu concept of God, Hindu concept of Bhagavan, I'll give you a few examples. It helps you to understand much better and easy. Earth is one. Earth as a globe is one. Or let us say mud. Mud, you call it earth. Earth or mud is one. But in different proportions, we call the same mud by different names. Okay. If it is a small hillock, the same mud in a hillock we call it hill or hillock. It's still big, you call it mountain. If there is a space in between 2 big hillocks, you call it a valley, a depression, a valley, isn't it? So the same earth, it's a depression, you call it a valley. A small hill or a mountain, or it is a plain, you call it an area. All this means earth only. The earth has got different aspects. Okay. Earth is one, but the one earth has got a different aspect, so you can look at differently by and also give a different name. One is a valley, another is a plain ground, another is a plain ground, plateau. We call it a plateau. Plateau is a Deccan plateau, we call it. South Indian area is a Deccan plateau. Then sometimes you call valley, or you slope in the mountain. If it is a huge one, we call it a mountain. Small, it is a hillock. Like this, the same earth in different shapes, you call them by different names. Okay. Similarly, water body is same. You can call it simply a tank, or a lake, a river, or a sea, or ocean. See, water body is same. You can call it a small tank, or a lake, or a pool. In a swimming pool, artificial pool of water, you call it pool. See, inner water is same. The content water is same. Depending upon which area it is, you call it a water pool, in a swimming pool, or in a tank, or in a lake, or a river, or a sea, or an ocean. Tell me, we have given the 5 names. Are they different? When you when you take bath or dip yourself in a swimming pool, or a lake, or a tank, or a river, in all the places only water alone you are touching. You are taking bath with water alone. So the external name, the shape of it differs, but inner water is same. Okay. I gave you the example of earth, gave you the example of water. You can take example of a sky also. The whole space is one, but the space can be of various sizes, like the room space, hall space, a big palace you can see. So like this, the same space is of different sizes. So you give them a different name. When it is a room, you call it a room space. Still bigger, you call it a hall space. Like that. But the space as it is one. Similarly here, Bhagavan is one, the same consciousness, but in a different upadhi. Upadhi means in a given situation, with reference to certain area, certain power, you call him, give him a small name. Okay. The same water body, the same water, in a given place, you call a small water body. Still it is a bigger, you give another name. Another name and thing. Similarly, gods are not many. Though we call many, it means the godliness is one. Godhood is one. Bhagavan, Bhagavatvam is one. Divinity is one. You see them in different forms, different shapes, but the divinity itself is one. Okay? Or Godhead or godliness, I don't know what words they use in English. It's one only. So godliness or Godhead is one, but it appears in different degrees in different area. Okay? See, in India we have got very strange thing. When you build a house, okay, there is a house god. God presiding that home. We call domestic god. When you build a house, when you build a new village, new town, what happens? There is a town deity. There is a village deity. Do you know that? When you build a town, a village, we get a village god. That means same God looked with reference to this village. That means the same Ishvara, same Bhagavan is manifesting in the form of this village. So village is his own manifestation, like his own body, his own hands and legs. He is appearing. So we are living like children live in the mother's womb and also play in mother's lap. Similarly, we are living in the village. That means we are also his own children. We live as a part of him. In his own lap we play. So village is his own body. Village is Ishvara's body. When you build one house, house is also Ishvara's one body. When you build a big, supposing you remove the village, supposing you break away all the houses and village is removed, what happens? Village disappears. When the village is destroyed, what happens to God? God becomes unmanifest. See, God doesn't go away. He remains. He is only non-manifest. You build another village. In the form of the village, same Sarvavyapaka Paramatma, all-pervasive, same Bhagavan manifests in that village. You build a house. Your house is only another form of God. Another form of God. So you start living in that house. Okay, so it is another form of God. That's why we have got a home God, we have got a village God, we have got even now village. We are brought up this way alone. In our childhood, we have been thinking this way. So this is how we do. Any new thing you build, any new machine you build, God manifests through that machine. You see, I don't know whether most of you must have seen, if you buy a new car, you bring the car to this temple and ask our Purohita to worship it, and he will do worship and start using the car from that day onwards. He worships the car because the God is manifesting in the form of the car and you are using it and he is blessing you, and so you are using a car. If you buy a scooter, you worship because God is manifesting in the form of a scooter. You build a big factory, that is also God. You build an airport, that is also God. So God manifests in different degrees, in different forms. Okay. The same one can be seen in a larger forms or in a smaller forms. Like the same water can be seen in different water bodies, in smaller bodies and bigger bodies. You can have a small one vessel, one tumbler, okay? One small glass of water, small tumbler of water, even that is a water. You see a big vessel, one jug of water, okay, in that jug also is a water, or a big bucket of water, even that is a water. So the same water's degree keeps fluctuating. Similarly, God remains the same, the godliness manifestation fluctuates in different degrees. So in any degree it is same God. I give you another example of fire. Another example of fire. Fire, it is a small fire or big fire depending upon the fuel. Fuel means the wood, piece of wood. If there is a small piece of wood or a coal, you have a small fire. If there is a heap of wood, it's a bigger fire. Still, you set a big, huge forest on fire, it becomes a still bigger fire. So the fire is big or small. The size of fire keeps changing depending upon the fuel. But the fire is one. Similarly, we say Ishvara is one in this sense. Now there is no question of true God, false God, bigger God, smaller God. All this is ridiculous. All this means God is one. He manifests in different degrees. So smaller degree, higher degree of God includes smaller degrees. Now there is no question of quarreling higher God, lower God. Higher God already includes a smaller God. What is that? Higher God includes a smaller God. Like a bigger body of water includes a smaller body of water in it. Similarly, we see Ishvara manifesting in the world in different way. Earth is Ishvara. Fire is Ishvara. Water is Ishvara. Vayu, the wind is Ishvara. Wind is Bhagavan. And Akasha is Bhagavan. Then the world as a whole is Bhagavan. Sun is Bhagavan. Moon is Bhagavan. Star is Bhagavan. In between the space, that is also Bhagavan. Then the human beings also, animals also, plants also, they manifest a small degree. Therefore, now you have an idea of God. The Hindu understanding of God. It is the one non-divisible, one indivisible Paramatma manifest in different degrees. Okay? One indivisible Paramatma manifest in different degrees. So according to that manifestation, you find his capacity somewhat less, somewhat more. But the root, the source of all these different degrees is one indivisible Paramatma. Here he says, people worship gods according to their capacity, according to their need in different forms, in different degrees. So therefore, this shloka says, Daivameva pare yajnam yogina paryupasate. Now tell me, do you worship your God and my God? There is no your God and my God. God is God. Whether you in whatever form, whatever name, in whatever degree of manifestation. Okay, in whatever degree, in whatever quality also. Sometimes the physical power, sometimes mental power, sometimes psychological power, sometimes emotion, sometimes intellectual knowledge, sometimes material power, like your machinery power. All powers in the world are same God alone. All these powers, see, you see physical power, fire, power of the fire has got a energy. It burns. Light has got an energy, magnetic energy, electronic energy, electrical energy. All these are different energies of same Paramatma. Paramatma is manifesting as different light, heat, all these. Heat is his own energy, light is his own energy, kinetic energy, dynamic energy. You talk to the physician, they'll tell you so many things. All these are different manifestations. That's why Devi is called Shakti. If one is existing, okay, existing is one energy. You are able to write with a pen, that writing capacity, that it is usable is energy. Hand you are holding, that is also one Shakti. Eyes are seeing Shakti. Ears are hearing Shakti. So Devi is all pervasive. Goddess Lalita is pervasive in and through all of us. So she is sitting in your eyes as a seeing power, seeing Shakti, Drishti Shakti. In your ears, hearing Shakti. In your walk, in your speech, speaking Shakti. Okay. So inert objects, existing Shakti. Moving objects, moving Shakti. So all Shakti is all pervasive. Sun has got a lighting Shakti. Fire has got a heating Shakti. Every object on the earth, both mind and the body and the world, everything is a manifestation of Shakti. The same Devi or same God. That's why we call Sarva Shaktiman. God is omnipotent. Ishvara, Bhagavan is omnipotent. So these are all different degrees of manifestations. So in different degrees, so everything is manifestation of Him alone in different degrees. Therefore, whichever you need it at your level, you can take up one level and start worshipping. And more your mind purifies, mind start getting related. It becomes capable of relating to a higher, larger area of God. Okay, then you will go into a deeper aspect of, deeper understanding of God. Then still deeper, ultimately you come to the absolute truth. Okay, but whatever level, whatever you are capable of understanding, start with that. Therefore, the idea of God I told you briefly. Then the worship. Worship can be physical, oral, and mind. Physically, you offer something. Okay, serve Him, offer Him. Then orally you speak also with a good and politely, respectfully. Mind also, you have a good feeling, you have a positive feeling, noble feeling, loving feeling. Intellect also thinks good about Him, you have got a good idea about Him, a positive idea about Him. This is worship. Okay, and then the worships can be, one is Shastriya karma, another is ritual, one is ritual. Second is professional job also is a worship. Varna dharma we call it, Varna karma. Professional job, whatever profession you take, even that is a ritual, that is another worship. One is a rituals, ritual is one form of worship. Professional work is another form of worship. Your hobby, you practice certain music, art and handicrafts and such things, even that is also worship. In India, music is also worship, art is also worship, handicraft is also worship. Okay, fourth worship is service. You serve a given individual, your mother and father. In India, we have got one yajna like that. Look after your parents alone, that is yajna. Whole life there are many bhaktas, just he loves and looks after his mother or a father. Whole life is dedicated to mother and father alone. Whole life he does it, that is a yajna. Or you serve any other person like a patient or a child. So the parents looking after children, bringing up them, even that is yajna. Okay, bringing up the children with a detached love and care and respect, and see that your God will be pleased, and your God will be also in the form of children, in the form of parents, in the form of any relationship. So the relationship, take it very lovingly, very divine way, and maintain that relationship without any ego and selfishness. That becomes a worship. Okay, so looking after, bringing up children, even that is also yajna. And then society in large you do it. So this is, so four types of rituals I can say, form of worship. One is a ritual, religious ritual. Second is a professional job. Third is art, music and such things, even literature, like creative fields people do. Nowadays people do painting and etc., but that is not becoming a yajna. They do it because out of a curiosity, and they just express their feelings. But if it purifies your feelings, it becomes a devotional art. Means your heart is you are applying your heart and doing like a more devotion as a yajna. Then your music, practicing, learning music, art, handicraft, all these things can be pursued like a yajna. Even dance also can become a yajna if you do it in a yajna spirit and yajna way. God can be worshipped like that's why people, we have a dance in front of God. We sing music, and we also compose poems, write them, or we read out the poems composed by others. All this is ritual, all this is worship. All this worship of God. Service also. Now I told you four kinds of worships. Rituals, professional job, music, art, dance and all, etc. Various kinds of things. Then service of as an individual or society or anybody. So these four kinds of worships we have. Okay, any of them one can do. All this is worship alone. So if you think of the same Ishvara, any of these you practice it. So inwardly, supposing you take, see our literature, let us take in India. In India we have got different kinds of literature and they classify them. One is too ordinary literature. Second is a semi-divine, a semi-religious literature. Then you go deeply into it, it becomes a karma yoga type. Then it becomes a bhakti type. So the same literature, if the qualitatively it changes, it keeps on becoming deeper, deeper, deeper. Ultimately literature becomes very worship of God. It expresses the beauty of God, worship of God. As you read out, you feel that you are worshipping Him with all devotion. Even music also. We have got a lower music, medium music, then highest ritual, spiritual music. So similarly dance also. Now you see the pop music, pop dance, etc. All this is a superficial worldly music. worldly dance. Then you may do little more. That means dance expresses certain beauty, certain deeper quality of life. If it expresses worshipful feeling with an understanding of Ishvara, then it becomes a really ritual. It is a worship. Okay. So here he says, Daivam, he takes God and he does the worship. Therefore we have got, one is a fire. You take a fire and worship it. Another is put an idol and worship it. Another one is, that directly sun we worship. Sun and the moon and the earth also we worship. Rivers we worship. We worship rivers, we worship plants, we worship the sun. So these are all natural things available in nature. We directly worship them. One is worshipping natural forces. But see them, each natural force is a manifestation of Ishvara. Nature is worshipped not as nature. Nature is worshipped as a manifestation of Bhagavan. That way. Bhagavan manifests here. So here we worship, one is a yajna, is in fire you offer. Another is the nature like water, sun and the moon and etc. Then idols you worship. You install the idol and do prana pratishtha. Temples, you have got plenty of temples you must have seen here. Not only in India, if you see them, even Europe also there are Hindu temples. Even ancient, if you dig, I found some archaeologists are finding some old temples even in Europe. Everywhere you find the temples. Then the fourth worship is directly worship human beings. In fact, our Puranas say, in earlier days, they were worshipping directly human beings. Guru worship, Brahmana worship, father, mother worship, mother. More than father, mother is worship. So, Guru worship, Brahmana worship and mother worship, this is also worship alone. But treat them with that devotion. So this way, now tell me, which symbols, which form of worship? All these are worships alone. Even for a king, his ruling his kingdom, his society is God. His kingdom is God. For a king, his kingdom is God and he is a servant. You know that our Shastra says, for a king, his kingdom is God and the king is a worshipper. Ruling kingdom is a worship for him. He has to look after the people. He should not hurt them, harm them. No injustice. He has to honestly, according to dharma, he should rule. So his profession is a worship. Like this, your own professional. Swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. Bhagavad Gita says, in 18th chapter, your professional duty is also another form of worship. Like this, there are different forms of worship. Here he says, Daivam, anybody who takes God in any of these manifestations and worships in any of these forms, and the person who is worshipping can be in two ways. One is a ritualistic way to acquire the religious merit, another is karma yoga way. Karma yoga way, that is a Vedantic way. Offer it selflessly, just to purify you, just to discover your intimate relationship with God. It is a simply karma yoga, surrendering and discovering bhakti for him. Okay, so this is the first line we have seen, and the more we see it. So when I tell the other yajnas, I compare. In comparison, you learn little more. Now I told you this one, Daivam yajna. Next line, Brahmagna vapare yajnam yajnena ivopajuhyati. This is a Vedantic yajna. He calls Vedanta as a yajna. See, Vedantic vichara. How this is a yajna, we'll see in the next class. Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Tat Sat.